Finally, we actually have word as to whom it is the Montreal Canadiens will be targeting this off-season. And it comes to us today via a post made by Nick Kypreos on the Toronto Star. This will be linked in the description. It's a piece talking about, surprise, surprise, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Nick Kypreos' opinion on how there are many layers to John Tavares' future with the Leafs. This one isn't being talked about enough. This article was published 3 days ago on June 5th, and it's going to be in the description if you want to read about all that Kypreos has to say about John Tavares and his time in Toronto. However, let's skip by all of the stuff that talks about Toronto and Marchand and Matt Sundin and Johnny T and go all the way down into the Kipper's Corner area of the article. These Kipper's Corner notes are usually the ones in the article that go over non-Maple Leafs related things, even though the first one is technically talking about Nick Robertson. I guess it's just kind of stuff that's unrelated to the main titled article topic, but if you scroll down and you read here, this is what Nick Kypreos writes about. There aren't many quality UFA defensemen out there. So that makes Nic Hague of the Golden Knights a very attractive trade chip, if and when Vegas decides to move him because of limited salary cap space. I'm hearing the Montreal Canadiens and Pittsburgh Penguins are hot on the trail to potentially trade for him. Let's dive into it, shall we? We are talking today about Nic Hague of the Vegas Golden Knights, a 26-year-old monster of a player. He is 6'6", 240, a left-handed D-man. So, there's that. Hague was an original misfit, not because he played for the team in their first season, but because he was one of the first draft picks made by the Golden Knights ever in that 2017 NHL Draft. He was taken second round, 34th overall. Yeah, you might be thinking, second round, right? He's one of the first picks ever. Well, that's technically true. He actually was the fourth draft pick ever, because Cody Glass, Nick Suzuki, and Erik Brannstrom were all Vegas guys taken in the first round. Hague went in the second. After just one more season developing in the OHL, Hague found his role in the Vegas Golden Knights system as a very solid, stubborn brick wall of a D-man, who produces upwards of 12 to 17 points on a season. He could be on pace for more if you take a look at the points per game, but ultimately Hague is more of a defensively minded, physical, shutdown guy. There were two-way qualities to his game back when he was draft eligible, as exemplified by his over point per game draft plus 1 year with Mississauga, but that's not really the role that Hague has in the National Hockey League, especially in a Vegas system that has the likes of Shea Theodore, among others, producing big numbers on the back end. Hague doesn't need to be a top point producer, he just needs to be a wall. And that is exactly what he has been, and he's done it well. So, when you think about Nic Hague and the fact that he does not have a contract for 2025-2026, when you take a look at the fact that his current contract, or should I say current, or his former contract, expired as an RFA with $2.294 million as the AAV, this isn't a player who is as free as he wants to just walk right to unrestricted free agency. There can be some wiggle room for the teams that own him. And for the Vegas Golden Knights, when you consider the fact that they could be in the market to signing a guy like Mitch Marner, that they do need to re-sign guys like Riley Smith, Victor Olofsson, Brandon Saad needs a new deal, there are a number of ways you can explore the Vegas Golden Knights clearing up some cap room, and if you want to say that they're going to keep around the guys they already have on the team that are committed, the Eichels, the Stones, Hurdles, Carlsons, etc., maybe it's not really all too projectable to see a guy like Nic Hague sticking around on this team. Nevertheless, the article that Kypreos writes talks about how Montreal and Pittsburgh are supposedly two of the teams that are going to be bidding against each other for Hague's services, and I wanted to dive into the fit here. Because for Montreal Canadiens fans, it's quite interesting. I'd seen a lot of Habs fans responding to the idea of Hague being a Habs target with a bunch of uncertainty as to why that might be the case. The main sentiment that I've seen is, hey, the Montreal Canadiens have enough left-handed guys. Why do they need this one? You think about it, okay, Matheson, Hudson, Guhle, Xhekaj, Struble, and then you have Nic Hague? That's 6 guys right there. That's a whole decor of just left-handed guys. That's not even including Alexandre Carrier or, I don't know, if you want to toss in, David Reinbacher or somebody on the right. Nic Hague fills a role that you could very well debate the Montreal Canadiens do not need filling up. Although I will say, stylistically, if you wanted the Montreal Canadiens to have a decor that features one bona fide, elite, franchise, puck-moving, offensive quarterback surrounded by a whole bunch of rough, tough, rock'em sock'em brick wall caliber guys, then having Lane Hutson surrounded by Cayden Guhle, Nic Hague, Arber Xhekaj, David Reinbacher, that's not a bad idea. It's just, again, is it really what the Canadiens need at this stage of their timeline? They have enough left-handed D-men. I do kind of wonder if Nic Hague is really an essential add at this point. If you head over to the Pittsburgh Penguins, this is what Kyle Dubas seems to be cooking up over there in Pennsylvania. I do kind of like the idea of having Ryan Graves and Nic Hague on the same team. 2 absolute behemoths of defensemen. Maybe Ryan Graves is a lot worse than Nic Hague is, but still, there is a relatability between the way both of these guys play that I think makes it interesting, for sure. The Penguins definitely do have a weaker decor, I'd say, with Gritslick, Shea, Kolyachonok as well in there, Erik Karlsson, who knows if that guy's going to stick around long-term. Chris Letang is also an option here too, although he was injured to end off the year. When P.O. Joseph is in the lineup, he's pretty good too, but ultimately the Penguins did have some vulnerability this previous season. I can understand if they're going to go out there and chase the big, middle-aged, left-handed D-man in Nic Hague. The question is, though, what kind of assets would the Vegas Golden Knights be interested in return? Something tells me that they probably want to keep around players of Nic Hague's profile, just not necessarily Nic Hague, because he does need a contract extension, and it's really going to hamper the way the Golden Knights are going to do their business. If they can trade away Nic Hague for a young-ish guy who is also in that same type of mold, who plays in that same type of way, who happens to be cheaper, then I think they probably do it. It's just, there would be a team that needs to maybe shell out an extra asset or two to outbid for Hague's services, considering the fact that he is one of the more solid defensively minded D-men out there who can produce some points as well. This is a very interesting thought for Montreal Canadiens fans, because if you start to think, okay, maybe the Habs shell away one of their already projectable D-men in the lineup for a guy like Nic Hague, if it's somewhat of an upgrade in terms of what they have, then okay, that is awesome. If you trade away, let's say, Arber Xhekaj for Nic Hague, you're losing out on some of the fighting and actual combative nature out of Xhekaj, but you're getting probably a much more stable NHL caliber D-man, who also has a big physical edge to his game, and who can also rock him, sock him when he needs to, maybe just with a lesser level of aggression. If you trade away Arber Xhekaj plus a second-round pick for Nic Hague, I honestly think that works. But the question is, will the Pittsburgh Penguins go out there and outbid Kent Hughes and the Habs? That is the ultimate question that we need to consider here at the same time. So with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this Nick Kypreos report saying that Nic Hague is being targeted by both the Habs and the Penguins? This bidding war is just getting started, but I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about it all? I hope you enjoyed this Recherche Rolls 99, and bye.